If you don't be true to yourself, you're never gonna be fulfilled in your life. You're never gonna have the career of your dreams, the relationship of your dreams. If you don't be true to yourself, stop comparing yourself. I mean, it's easy to say, like with just the mouth, that you are such a unique person. You cannot compare yourself. You have your own experiences in life, you have your own path to follow. One of the most powerful things in social media is consistency.
Greetings, all. Welcome to Living Once Twice, the place where we rewrite narratives, reinvent ourselves, and reimagine our lives. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to make sure that you be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the new YouTube channel. Also, be sure to give us a follow on Instagram at Living Once Twice. Thank you all again for your presence and tuning in today, because I am very excited to bring on today's guest, Mayara Andrade. Mayara is a entrepreneur, passionate San Francisco Bay Area photographer and health advocate. When she's not capturing memories of families, couples, and maternity milestones, you could catch her creating arts and crafts, enjoying nature, traveling the globe, and spending time with their partner and pup. Mayara, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Justin, and I'm so honored to be here with you. Thank you so much for the invite, and I'm really anxious and excited to share my story with you and your audience as well.
Oh, wonderful. Listen, nothing to be anxious about. Just be excited. Because folks,
Yeah, I'm excited, not that anxious.
I'm
I
gonna
feel
give
like
folks some
anxious is my
context.
normal person now.
Oh, no,
Anxiety
people
is
are
a
going to
part of
love
me
this
sometimes.
interview with you and conversation, Mayara, because folks, Mayara is a part of just my chosen family out here in the Bay Area. Mayara, I'm going to give folks a little background. So you and I met, years ago, but we were part of this amazing thing called the Fit Family. So we met each other through our shared love of health and fitness, and our friendship has continued to evolve. And I'm just so excited to have you on for today's conversation because, as I mentioned to you before we press record, getting to watch you now go and really pursue your passion and bring that passion to life, it's very inspiring to me. And I know so many people are just going to benefit from learning from just how you went through that transition and followed your passion and something that you rediscovered with photography. And so I'm really excited to get into pursuing your passion and how that all came about, the social media and marketing tips that you have that you've even shared with me, and also just navigating burnout as an online creator and so much more. So again, thank you for just being who you are, but also your time today.
It's my pleasure, truly my pleasure.
So let's start with your journey, Mayara, because there's a quote from you that I want to share, and it's, photography has been inside of me for so long, but I had to dive deep into my self awareness to find it and realize that it was my passion. So, for people not familiar with your background, especially your background, because there's a really nice flag behind you, can you share more about who you are, where you're from, but then also what was the turning point for you when you discovered or rediscovered your passion for photography?
Yeah, as you guys can see, the flag here, I'm Brazilian. I've been living in the US for 10 years. I'm an American citizen now too. That's new in my life. And I started my journey as a dietitian. I've been a diet. I graduated in Brazil as a dietitian, and after coming to the US, I discovered, oh my God, I can be anything I want. And I did do a lot of things. I did some volunteers at Sutter Health to discover if I would become a dietitian in the US. I've done event planning. I've done, it's so much. I've been to sales and technology. I've been a hair dresser. The first job I had in the US was as a house cleaner. And I did have, before the photography, I did have my eyebrows business. I used to be an eyebrows designer. And then I became photographer in the beginning of this year, officially. But photographer has been inside of me for so long, since I was 16 years old. And when I was 16 years old, on my very first job, the first thing that I bought, I can remember until this day, was a camera. And in Brazil, we have this thing that we can is like divide the amount of your paying like by month. So my camera, I bought a camera. I had to pay 99 reais, the currency in Brazil, for 12 months. That was my first camera. And then this was inside of me for so long, and but I, with pressure of society, I didn't know like for sure what I wanted for my career, because my career was always something that I needed to fulfill in my life. I needed that passion, that thing to bring me life when I was talking about career, but I didn't know what was it until I dive deep, like super deep in my self awareness. I did so many types of therapy, and the normal therapy was when I realized that for to be happy with a career, I needed to use my creativity. I needed to have people around. And as a person who loves to print photos, I have tons of albums with printed photos. I love doing scrapbooks and I love doing photo albums. For a person who loves that, why not? I do love capturing memories and I get emotional. Like if you tell me a story, I would be like, oh, we have to capture this memory. And on my friends and family surroundings, I was always known as the person who never forgets about the pictures, because I always wanted to have that moment in my life. And to me, like if you see a photo, you're not seeing just one photo, you're seeing that moment. And then when you come back to see that photo again, you are kind of reviving all that moment again inside of you. And if that moment was sad or happy, you can revive that in your heart, and the photo can bring all of that to life, to your heart again. So that was, I think I kind of resume a little bit. Hope so. Hope you get it.
No, see, this is so insightful, and this is why I love your story, Mayara, because you talked about first this journey of trying different career paths, and you even started off by saying like some of that came from pressure. So could you speak more about like when you entered the real world, why was there a sense of like pressure when it came to picking your career paths? Was it because of society, culture, family, expectations? Like what was the pressure going on for you that led you to career paths that weren't maybe connected to your passion?
Yeah. And I think the thing that blocked me the most was because the conception of, oh, you graduated as a dietitian, you're gonna have to be a dietitian for the rest of your life. That's something really stupid and crazy that people put in our heads, and society and people around us. And I feel that pressure counted a lot for me to not see clear what my passion was before. And I feel like we all need to pass through things in life. And I feel like if I didn't live everything that I lived before becoming a photographer, I wouldn't have all the baggage that I have now to fulfill even more my career block on my life.
I think that's really insightful for you to like as you look back now. They always say life is a mystery going forward, but it's a science when we look back of seeing how all of the different areas of your life have led you to this moment. But I want to kind of talk a little bit more about that whole getting to this moment because for many of us we do become lost in that whole narrative that you go to college, you get your degree, you use your degree, and you kind of almost feel like stuck in this path, but that path might not be fulfilling. So, could you share like for someone out there who is lost or when you were lost in that lost period trying to rediscover yourself, like yeah, what did you do? What steps did you take? What led you back to mining this passion that you had going back to when you were 16? Like what helped you rediscover that passion again?
I feel like doing therapy is the most precious thing that we can benefit from life. But it's not just about going to therapy. You have to dive and discover it by yourself, because the therapy is just like a tool that you're going to use. If you don't use that professional person to help you out to grow, like you have to bring things to work with the therapist. It's not like she's gonna resolve, she or him is gonna resolve all your problems. So if you don't get everything that you are inside of you to bring into therapy, and uh, kind of work on the things that you need to work on inside of you, and getting the true, like being true to yourself, first of all you have to be true to yourself. But you have to learn about like how to be true to yourself. Nobody tells you that. Nobody tells you that. If you don't be true to yourself, you're never gonna be fulfilled in your life. You're never gonna have the career of your dreams, the relationship of
Mm,
your dreams, if you don't be true to yourself. If you get like stuck about with people talking, giving you opinions, or like just thinking about what other people would think about you, instead of what does it matter for you truly, so you won't go anywhere, you know.
yeah, and Mara, with respect to that, because I appreciate you being so open and honest about how a part of like going to therapy and going on this healing journey helped you to uncover this mind out, this passion again. With respect to thinking about others or getting stuck on the opinions and the belief of others, was that a part of your process? Like, did you find within therapy that maybe you were putting too much of the, whether it's like pressure or so much weight, worry about the opinions of others? Like, how was that factoring into to holding you back from really pursuing your dream?
Yeah, that was so definitely holding me back, because a little bit of my background, so you might know but the listeners might not understand. So I'm from a really small town in my country, a really small town. And in my hometown, everybody takes care of your life. Everybody knows about your business, even the things that are not true, everyone knows about your life. And the pressure that I grow up on, like thinking about, oh, what people's gonna think about me if I give up of my dietitian career, just became a photographer. Is it photography like a business that people consider successful? Or I even thought about photography by that time, but just about changing the careers was something so big on me that I have kind of uh, do you know when we have like a vase, like a flower vase, we have to kind of break all the pieces and put it all back together to put
Mm.
flowers on it so you can hold the flowers, you know what I mean? So I feel all of this, it's kind of I kind of make this story to me. So I had to break my vase, put it everything together, and then I could put water to let like the flowers bloom, you know.
I love that analogy of having to like kind of break yourself down to build yourself back up. And as you've gone through that process, Mayara, of breaking yourself down and building yourself back up, like what have you learned about yourself in that process? Because on one end, what you're describing is like, hey, I would don't want to put this word in your mouth, but like there's this kind of people pleasing that many of us have, where we're worried about the expectations of others, the opinions of others, especially if we find ourselves wanting to go into a creative pathway that we maybe didn't get our education in, or one that we might think judged. But as you were doing that work of building yourself back up, like what did you discover and learn about yourself just as a person in that process?
Yeah, this process, I would say like not people pleaser, because I do like I have a strong personality. I'm a Leo, so I have a big, strong personality. But I would say that I was so afraid of people's judgment because of the
Mm.
environment that I grown up with. And I would say that I learned, this is a little hurtful to say. I mean, I'm cured about that, but maybe you, listener, can listen from it, can learn from it. I've learned that I'm not a nice person with myself. uh, on the outside, I do have this big energy. I love talking about beauty and stuff. I like to talk about so many things on the outside. But internally, when I am about to compliment myself, like internally, and compliment myself about my achievements, I had such a huge, like, hard time acknowledging that I was difficult to understand this process, that I have to be nice to myself because I was going through a process of self-awareness and rediscovering myself. That was one big thing that I had to breathe in, breathe out, take a step back and say, wait, what are you doing? Come on, you are here this day and you have conquered and you have done all these things in the past, and for you to be here, you passed through such a hard time, wasn't easy for you. So just to be gentle on myself, I would say that one of the biggest things that I've been learning too.
And Mayara, I want to honor what you just shared there because I think that's so powerful because many of us suffer from that same. They say no one's like more critical of ourselves than ourselves. That judgment, our own ability to not be as compassionate on ourselves as we would be a loved one or a friend. And hearing you talk about how in your own building yourself back up, whether it was through affirmations and things that you said to yourself, reminding yourself and being gentle and kind with yourself through this process, helping you get back through as you went through this path of rediscovery. And Myra, as you were talking about just kind of going down this path of bringing your passion back to life. Another question that I have for you too is because there was a gap of time between 16 and making this all happen as well. And I know many of us, one of our stumbling blocks is procrastination, where we know, okay, this really is something that brings me life, but it could be because of judgment of the outside world. It could be even the work that it's going to take to launch that business, get back in shape, whatever it might be. We just kind of drag our feet and we procrastinate. So, what would you offer to a listener out there who's gone through this process of self discovery and realizes, like, yeah, I want to pursue my passion, whether it's I want to bring it to life, I want to bring it to life in a side hustle, I really want to pursue it. But procrastination of doing the work is tripping them up. I guess I want to hear from you. Like, did you struggle with any procrastination? And is there anything you would offer to someone out there who might be struggling with procrastination in this season of their life?
Yeah, definitely I did struggle with procrastination. But I was always known as a doer. My husband, we were talking earlier, he was just saying, hey, you are such a doer, because uh, and then he was explaining why he thinks that. And another friend of mine, she said that the other day too. And I never realized that, to be honest. I never got that compliment, like, for myself, from myself to myself. You got it right. So I feel like when the procrastination is in your life so big, and sometimes you can change it and you can try it, but to be honest, if you want to conquer some things and some things never comes to you easily, or I mean, never is easy on this life, but I felt like the my life kind of changed a lot after I've done family constellation. Huge shout out to Marceli, our friend. I did my family constellation with her. For people who doesn't know what family constellation is, it's kind of the therapy that you do to release traumas from your past and from your family. I don't know how to explain much about this, but Justin has an episode here on the podcast with Marceli that you can definitely check it out. And she's gonna explain more about that. So I feel that after I've done the family constellation, my life kind of was much was flowing so much. Flowing is the exact word. I felt stuck so much in a point of my life that things were not flowing, that things were not progressing. But after the family constellation, with everything we worked on, and again, with therapy included, I was able to feel much more things and do much more things that was stuck on me. And that was one thing that I would say for who wants to have a nice tip like of overcoming procrastination. And another thing that helped me a lot and keep helping me is to do like a simple to-do list. I put some things on my list and I have to get at least 3 or 5 things. First, I was doing like a huge list, and then I was like, no, you have to be sincere to yourself and start with small tasks and then go changing. And the other thing I would say is to get like a good routine in your life. If you say to yourself, hey, I'm gonna wake up at every day at 7 a.m. and I'm gonna exercise 30 minutes. Okay, so you wake up, get your butt on it, and do the exercise. And with no excuses, not to yourself, not to like nobody else. You have to be true to yourself and just stick with the plan that you did for yourself, because everything that you're building in this life depends on you. I know we all have different backgrounds, different times and in life, but if you adjust your routine with the things that you need to do, I think it's gonna be much easier for you to overcome the procrastination.
I think these are some important tips that you share, Myra. Speaking whether it's overcoming procrastination by, well, maybe there's a reason why you're holding yourself back, and in using a tool, a powerful tool that we talk about often on this podcast, therapy, to maybe explore what that is. Are you is there something from your past that's holding you back? Are you fearing success? Like, what could it be? And I agree with you. Working with a therapist can kind of give you that outlet to explore what might be that block. And that episode, I'll make sure that I include that episode 50 in season 5 with Marcelli, who kind of talked a little bit deeper about the holistic aspect of something like family constellation therapy that you named. And then you also just giving people some other tips and tools, whether it be creating a list. But I think that routine, because one of the things I always hear folks say is like two things can really help you when it comes to overcoming procrastination. And one is structure, and you saying like, well, give yourself a routine to create that structure, but then also community and support. So I'd love to hear, like, in your journey of creating this online business and pursuing this passion, what's been the role of your community in also helping you to keep yourself accountable, keep your momentum going, and even drawing inspiration as you've done so well as becoming an online creator?
Oh, definitely, community help. For on my first beginning, I didn't have a very good experience with a little group of photographers. But after that, I had a few more experiences that changed it so much, my perspective. And now I have like a really nice community. I even created a Thursday loop on Instagram. which is a group of photographers that we post every Thursdays at 10 a.m. So we do like a list for whoever's gonna participate, and everyone posts every Thursday at 10 p.m. And then we follow the loop of photographers liking, commenting, and saving everyone's posts to help with engagement and help with the community too. So you can cheer them up, you can share some tips sometimes, and you can hold that accountability too. And as I always say, like if you have a community of people who does the same thing as you, they're not in like in caps look, like they're not your competitors, they are your friends. And we have to use that in our favor, because if when we have community, when we have support, we all grow together, you know. And I feel that's so important, especially these days with everything going on, with all these creators doing so much content, and having a community that I can have some accountability, it's really necessary. And I would say in all areas of our lives, it's really important to us to have some community.
Myra, I want to double down on something you said about, because you have this supportive community. So if people are hearing you listen and talk about this idea that you all do on Thursdays, where you're is it called the loop? Did I hear you
Yes,
say where you're
it's a loop.
resharing and liking each other's
Mhm.
photos? Hearing about how supportive everyone is incredibly refreshing, because I know I hear from some online creators, like it's easy to get caught into something you named, which is that comparison trap. You see someone else has a whole bunch of likes, someone has a whole bunch more followers, and it's easy for the human side of you, the jealousy, the envy, to bubble up. But again, reiterating what you shared of, like, they're not your competition, they're your community, and you all can thrive and grow together. But anything more you want to just speak on that for some people who maybe do struggle with getting caught in that comparison trap?
Yeah, that trap is so big and annoying. You're always gonna feel that sometime of your life on your life. And we probably gonna I just had like a creative block the other day because I did some I did one online course the other day, and it was so much information. And I was watching other people's content, and I kind of got blocked, you know. The comparison trap, you're always gonna feel it, but to overcome that, you have to, again, be true to yourself, be true where you are in life. Hey, this person is in this point. How many years of career this person has? Oh, this person has 10,000 followers. How many clients there does she has in a month? You know, because I feel people kind of misjudging. If you have lots of followers, lots of likes, that means that you are having your agenda full. But sometimes that's not true at all. Sometimes it's just numbers. If you don't feel like, if you don't are true to yourself, again coming back on this subject because I advocate for that, as you can see. You have to see what's important to you. And if you are having the clients, if you are achieving your goals, if you are happy with the work you're doing, so that's the thing that should really matters. Not, oh, that photo it's much better than mine. No, do you like it? Oh, what you can improve on your work to be better, not like the other person, but how can you improve your own work instead of just saying, oh, I want to be like that person. No, you have to improve and bring just the inspiration of that work into your life, into your business, into your lifestyle. because we're never gonna be the same person. And we can have 10 different photographers in a room. Nobody of the photographers in the room is gonna have the same eye as me. It's not gonna have the same eye as photographer C or B, because the creative around the photographer's eyes, it's so unique, and that's one of the things we have to value nowadays. And if you are looking for a photographer, you not just look for the numbers or just the portfolio. It has to be a number of things to match down for you to see if that photographer is truly the photographer that you want to capture that moment in your life.
I'm like, there's so much I want to say, Mayara, because again, you hit on some really important
I
gems
think
that I
I
think
talked too
people are going to
much,
take away with.
right?
No, no. For example, one of the things that sticks out to me that you talked about was like, you can't you can't worry about what's going on to the left and the right of you. Like really the importance of staying in your lane and really embracing your own uniqueness that only you bring. And so being also caught in the whole mindset like you can't judge your day one but someone's year 20. Like that's not fair to you to put yourself into that comparison trap there.
Hmm.
And you just kind of emphasizing to people like we all bring our own unique sense, flavor, skill set, talent, and we need to honor that. And and even in the midst of whatever it might be, the envy of another, there's still something unique that you bring to the table that is just special to you. And again, it just goes to that what you were just kind of underlining there of like you can't base your own value off of what you're seeing others do. And I know you talked too about the importance of us keeping our intentions pure. And you kind of were starting to hit on that too, because sometimes we could still be creating, but maybe we are creating from a place of wanting to fill an internal void with external success and validation. And so anything that you've gone through, like have you found yourself ever kind of caught in that trap of tying your internal worth to the external validation, or anything you want to just kind of share with folks about that intersection of that we need to be mindful about?
That's a topic that we really need to focus on, uh, in my opinion, because this trap, it's so big in our lives. Wait, I just blank all my ideas. What was the question again?
Yeah. So it's essentially the intersection of tying your self-worth to the external validation that might come from
Oh,
being
okay,
a
got it.
social media creator, having an online business. Like, have you found yourself getting caught into that, and anything you would offer to help people avoid tying those two together? Because that could be a really dangerous hole to go down.
It is. And I feel like after passing the validation that I was suffering so much since day, I don't know, one on my life because of my background and stuff. After I passed this phase of validation from others, I started seeing the validation from myself, the self validation, because I would be like, I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh, if I haven't done all the things on my list, I would have failed. And validation, it was always something that would cross my path, and I've been learning how to deal with as the days go by, because it's like on the beginning I would be like, oh, it's kind of an imposter syndrome at the same time, because I would deliver a gallery, or I would do something for a friend. I would be like, what did this person think? What's their reaction? What's the thank you? When the thank you is gonna come? Oh,
Mm,
did they like that? Oh, was this enough? Oh, this kind of, I would say, like recognition too, because uh, one of my core values is recognition, because I need to be recognized from things I do. This was something that I discovered when I was working on my core values, building my core values, like not building, I already had them, just discovering them back again. So like I would say for you, if you are struggling with that, keep listening to your inside voice, to your inner voice, and give some yourself some grace at the same time, because we are not perfect. We are growing every each day, and if you wanna just be a better person or grow faster, you just dive deeper and try to learn more about yourself, because things are gonna get much easier.
This goes back to the way we kind of started in talking about how important self-awareness is, because you understanding how much you value recognition helped you to be able to catch yourself if you're ever tying your own self-worth to the external recognition for the work that you're doing. And trust me, I know I can relate to that, because I oftentimes will find myself in the same boat of like, oh, I put all my heart, my energy, and the soul. I hope people tune in and they listen, and things of that nature. And it's like, well, you can't tie the two together, because it's like it's more so, it's all like, to your point. What counts is inside. How do you feel about yourself, not whatever the external metric is or validation is that you're waiting from someone on the outside. So
Yeah.
I want to. Oh, go for it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but coming back just a little bit, it was kind of a trap getting the recognition as my core value, because I would be like, how this can be my core value? How do I need all this recognition, all these affirmations from others and from myself to be happy? Because that would be, look at it, that would be something that people would judge me to a lot. Come on, recognition, that's something important to you, you know? So that was kind of difficult to me. And now, of course, I'm healed and things are much better. I can say out and loud, but that was a little trap that I had to overcome too.
Mara, can we, if you don't mind, I want to dive deeper into recognition for you, because, like, what do you define recognition for? Like, what does it look like? Because everyone can define it differently. So I guess I'm curious to learn, like, how does recognition display itself that you value?
Yeah, there are a bunch of types of recognition that I value a lot. One of them is from friendships, to like birthdays. Everyone who knows me knows I love birthdays so much. And if you know me, you know my birthday, because I won't like to forget, because I always remember everyone my birthday is July 24th, by the way. So that's something that I need recognition from people that I love. So that's one point. And another point would be as like couples, like as a married in a marriage life. Oh, I did dinner, or I did something to us, and I would say, hey, oh, I acknowledge that, thank you for doing this for us. In a career point of view, I would say, if I've done a job that I like a lot, I'll be like, the recognition for me on my job now would be just capturing that family's memories, because I was a part of that. Because I could, like if it's a maternity session, for example, I that how was that pregnancy? How did they overcome to be pregnant? Was it difficult? Was it like in the blink of the eye? How was the process to get pregnant? Oh, how did the couple met? All this the story that they gonna tell me, and I'm gonna capture it my lens. It's my type of recognition of being a creator and a part of that environment, a part of that, not environment, a part of that moment that they would cherish forever. So that was a little recognition coming from. And then when I get a review, when I get a review on my Google, or when I get just like a little text message saying, hey, like the feeling, how did they feel about my sessions, and how did they feel on the day of the session, and how did they like the photos. That it's a plus, of course, because doesn't depend on me. But the good gap on the recognition thing would be, we have to pay attention on the things that we can control, but the things that we cannot control, if you are if it's like if it depends on people that you love around you, you kind of have to let them know, hey, this is important to me, because nobody has like a crystal ball, and you're not the center of the world, to people to do whatever you want and whatever you feel like you're gonna be happier. But you have definitely to focus on the things you can do and control.
And thank you for highlighting that piece first and just kind of explaining how that value resonates for you. So I appreciate you being open about that. But then just reiterating, like, even if you're looking for recognition from the outside, you still have to be able to give it to yourself, because you can't depend on everyone else to fill your cup in that
Mm-hmm.
regard. You can't. You're setting yourself up for failure to begin with, and you're putting unrealistic expectations on people, because not everyone can read your mind, especially those who you maybe are working with. They don't know that how much that review is going to work to you or mean to you. So you still have to be able to understand that there's value to you, what you brought, and capturing that milestone moment for them, irregardless of if that feedback or recognition comes. So I want to talk about kind of growth. I want to pivot and talk about how you've built up just such an amazing online presence and engagement. And again, for folks to know, like, you've offered me some incredible tips. And so I really appreciate so much. So for creators out there, people who want to build some sort of online presence and engagement, but are kind of early in that process, or even don't feel really equipped with like the tools and the insight to do it, so they're a little bit nervous, are there any like tips that you would offer to someone on ways that they can increase their online presence or engagement that you have found really effective in your own business?
Yeah, definitely nowadays we have to show our faces, and especially if your business or the way that you want to grow is communicating with people. And first of all, social media, it's a social place. So what people want to see? People, because we socialize and social media, right? That's a catch there. And first, if you are like shy on cameras, and you cannot just turn on the camera and talk with the phone, you can start with small steps. You can record and do some writing on the screen. That's one step, and then you can record again with your voice like a week after, and then you can start showing your face. You don't have to show it. You can do a selfie and write a text, for example, and then when you feel like a little more comfortable, and then you record yourself to build up your presence, because nowadays this is so important, because to communicate with everyone that is watching you, especially we spend so much time on social media right now, and if you can build that community, that presence, people are gonna rely much more on you, and they're gonna trust much more on you in whatever you are offering. And of course, try to offer things that will matter for the person, and try to see who is the person that you want to talk about. And instead of saying, hey guys, I'm here. Who guys? No, it's not guys on the other part of the screen. Hey, Hey, how are you? How are you feeling today? Happy Friday. What you gonna do this weekend? Because you are talking about with one person on the other side of the screen. It's not them, it's not guys. That's one. There are some small steps to start to build your presence on social media, especially like I'm on Instagram, so most of the time. So to build their presence and to talk to the other person on the other side, you just start with small steps and don't judge yourself much. Everyone is there to just social, like just pretend you are just socializing or FaceTiming with someone to that can help.
Thanks for highlighting all those different tactics and strategies, Myra. And starting off with just social media is social, so it's all about connection, the importance of putting yourself out there, but just the baby steps. Because you and I were just talking before we recorded. I was like, "Oh, you offer like, oh, we should do a live," and I'm like, "Myra, I think I'm a little nervous about doing a live," but I agree. Like the baby steps up to it, even in this journey of like doing video episodes and things of that nature. Like people start where you're at, and as Mayara was just kind of outlining, like there's different steps you could take to kind of increase your comfort as you're expanding your comfort zone of becoming more active and present with your social media engagement. And again, you're Mayara, what Mayara says is golden nuggets. She's done it. If you look at her stories and her content online, you'll be like, wow, she's really dynamic. So she's really speaking this stuff into power here. So
Yeah, but
before
you
we
know, I think it's. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no
It's
no 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 you go for it.
yeah, I think it's important to highlight to everything is not gonna come on the daylight. You have to build not just your presence. You have to build a strategy. You have to build what you want to share with whoever is watching you. So if you wanna, like you, if you wanna share the wellness and the advocate wellness that you do, all this good work you do, you have to highlight, hey, I deliver this to you. And it's important to have in mind that all of these we're not gonna overcome results in like quick. You have to keep doing, and one of the most powerful thing in social media it's consistency. It's like if you post today and don't post for a week or for a month, you're screwed. To like totally, you have to have a consistency. You don't need to post every single day. I mean, I'm not the expert on this area, but you don't have to post every day. But if you post 3 days a week, you have to commit yourself to post these 3 days a week, or at least do some engagement on stories. Every on the stories has to be every day. I'm sorry, guys, but
Is that your strategy, Myra?
stories
Is
has to
that
be
kind of
every
your
day.
strategy? You do stories every day and then you post.
Yes, yes. I mean, I used to post almost every day, but I found myself in a creative block these past weeks. So I've been posting just 2 3 times a week on the feed, but on the stories it's every day.
And again, I think that whole aspect of consistency, but reminding people that none of this happens overnight. You don't build up a social media audience, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, other networks, overnight. So the fact of building it brick by brick with consistency, I think, is important to emphasize. And Myra, before we go into each one, teach one, before we transition to that, something you hit on is speaking of consistency with social media and the energy that it takes. I wanted to get your thoughts on navigating burnout, because I know in this space it's more in energy and impulses coming in. So I was just wondering and wanting to hear like anything you would share about, have you had to navigate social media burnout, and if so, what are some strategies that you have found helpful and useful to you of just combating that social media burnout, especially because part of your job is to create an online presence.
Yes, I definitely feel that I could have had a burnout recently, but it's interesting because caught that when I caught that I was living that kind of burnout, I was listening to a podcast that was a psychiatric guy, someone about mental health professionals saying about burnout, and he was really sarcastic on the podcast, saying things you should do to have a burnout. And then I was like, I was super worried about that. And then I did a whole weekend detox, and I didn't even touch my phone. They didn't even answer any of my inquiries or messages, like even family. I didn't like almost didn't touch my phone. So I just did a detox and get myself centered again and say, hey, real life here calling you. What's real? What is not? What can I do to not feel that again? Let's create a strategy to kind of get away of this problem if you ever have it again. Let's just pay attention on your routines and the day to day like tasks that you do, so you don't feel like so you don't fall on that trap again.
And thank you for just being so open and honest about that because, as you point out, we are all, most of us are just engaged in some social media platform. It's easy thing to just go to in the free time, grabbing our phones. And so offering some of the strategies that you use, whether it's just kind of like, yeah, detoxing and unplugging to just keep yourself refreshed and recharged, I think is a great tip to offer. Anything else you want to share on that?
Yes, and the other thing would be stop comparing yourself. I mean, it's easy to say like with just the mouth, but you are such a unique person. You cannot compare yourself, and you cannot have the same things that the other person has, because you have your own experiences in life, you have your own path to follow. So if you go on that trap, you're gonna get burnout because you cannot compare everything that that person is showing off, or say, oh, I don't know if in English we have this idiom, but in Portuguese we have the neighbor's grass is always greener than
Mm,
ours. Do you guys have
yes.
this?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So don't fall off on that trap, because that can create burnout. And just remember how unique you are.
Yeah. And just expanding upon what you just shared there, Myra, about that, the grass always looks greener on the other side. With social media, we know it's curated. Like everyone gets to really kind of control what segment of their life they want to show. And so the importance to you to what you're sharing is like water your own grass. You don't know what's on the other side of that screen really going on in the reality.
Mm-hmm.
So so for our next part, Myra, this is our each one teach one rapid fire question. So I have a few questions for you and just share what comes to mind. So are you ready for the first question?
I am.
All right. So what's one book that you recommend that has been a game changer for you?
Yeah, because I am a podcast listener, like your podcast listener. I know you would ask that too. So this one, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Callahan. Callahan. I don't know how to say his name. Oh my God, the other book, I got two books from the same author.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And the other one is Emotional Intelligence by him too. That's two books. I really like it. And yeah, and kind of little changed my life a little.
Perfect. I love those recommendations and those are new. So thank you for sharing that. The next question, Myra, is what's a habit or practice that has been impactful for you in your lifestyle design?
Definitely 100% exercising, but finding the time and the routine. So the perfect time to exercise for me is in the morning, and I do my exercises with an app. called Copilot. So I like my morning routine is so important to me and my mental health, and I just wake up, do my things to get prepared, and just go straight to my little corner that I created, a little gym, and then do my workout. So I cannot open any social media or anything, just put my workout clothes on and do my exercise, and of course with the good music, because that's something that I like a lot. It's music, and I'm
Mm,
kind of a playlist addicted. I love doing playlists. I have the other day I was counting. I have 29 playlists
okay.
made by me.
All right. So low key, you got also we should add DJ to your bio because clearly you got a love of music.
Ah,
So that's wonderful. Okay. So the next one for you is if you could make one law or policy that everyone you to abide by, Mayara, what would that be?
you mean like a world law? What is
Yeah,
it?
it could be a world law that we all need to follow because you put it in place. What would it be?
Oh, I would say to respect nature and take care of our nature and surroundings, because I feel like deep down we are kind of killing our planet.
Hmm.
Um, I I don't do much as I should be doing, but I feel like nowadays every so many people are disrespecting nature and kind of making this place worse, like the air contamination and all the things that these big guys do and they are not even punished for all this damage they are doing.
Hey, that's a great law because we got to take care of nature. Otherwise, we're not gonna we're not gonna have a
We're
place
not gonna be
to be for a
here.
while. So this season's all about overcoming self-sabotage. So the last question I have for you is what's one piece of advice you would give to someone that's struggling but wants to stop undermining their own happiness?
I feel first of all you have to acknowledge that. Like you have to know that you are doing that wrong. So then you can change it. Because when you don't know, when you don't feel that you're doing something wrong, you're not going to change it. Like there is no fair tale that's gonna say like give you like a magic formula and say, hey, you drink this and everything you're gonna overcome. No, there is no magic formula. You have to build that, but first you have to acknowledge the things you are doing wrong and the things that you want to change. If you want to change that 18, you have to, oh, what? Can I do it alone? No. Can I do like, should I get help in therapy? Oh, that's good if you can do therapy. Oh, I don't have money to afford therapy. Oh, is there any social worker that I can get therapy for free? Oh, no. I tried the social worker and I cannot do the social worker. Oh, do I have, like, I think in university they have these programs of, that are the students who does the treatments. You can try to find that too. Oh, it's not therapy that you need, but you need something to guide you, to help you. Oh, find a friend, find a wellness coach. You can find other tools to help you conquer what you want to overcome. But if you don't know, if you don't acknowledge that you want to change, that you won't change at all if you don't acknowledge that first.
Hmm. Well said there, Mayara. So I guess the next question is to learn more. Like, where could people like? Hey, what's next for you, Mayara? But where could people go to learn more about you?
Yeah, you can find me at Mayara Andrade underscore photography. I'll spell that like Mayara Andrade, Andrade underscore photography on Instagram. And on Facebook, I am Mayara Andrade Photography too. And yeah, and what's new with me, right? You asked.
What's
Hope I
next? What's
can
next?
visit my family in January in Brazil. And with photography, I've been doing some new courses. I have lots of news for mommies to be on my maternity sessions. And I do have so much creativity and plans going on in my head that I want to bring to life. So if you are following me on Instagram, you're gonna see it all.
They will, and they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it all, Mayara. Just your energy, your creativity, your eye for design. It's incredible. So just continue to do all the awesome work you're doing. I appreciate you again being on here, sharing your story, your journey, but then also all the insights you offered about how to find ourselves when we feel lost, the tips on building and social media strategy when it comes to online and building a business. And then also just talking too about that intersection of our own wellness and navigating burnout or preventing burnout when it comes to social media that we're all engaged in. So just thank you again for your time and your insights. I just appreciate you so much.
Oh, and just one thing that I remember that helps me with my speaking was Toastmasters.
Mm,
Toastmasters, it's a public speaking group that you can just go on toastmasters.org and type on your zip code, and you can find a club close to you to practice your public speaking. And yeah, thank you.
yes. And I got to hear you deliver one of your speeches once upon a time. So that is
Oh
really
yeah,
awesome that
that's
you're still
true.
involved in Toastmasters. That's good stuff. And I'll be sure to include all the ways that y'all can check out Mayara's work and photography work on in the show notes. So be sure to check that out. But folks, that is it for today's show. I'd like to thank you all for your presence and tuning in today. If you enjoyed the Living Once Twice podcast, please be sure to show your support by sharing us on Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere else. Also, be sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And give us a follow on the Instagram page at Living Once Twice. Reaching out to you all through the time and the space that separates us to say, remember, your dream life is waiting for you. It's time to go for it. You deserve it. Catch you later on Living Once Twice.